Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. If you like The Mike Wagner Show and you want to make your own podcast, well, let me tell you about Anchor. First of all, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosensia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosensia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosensia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com and over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas 24/7 for family, friends, and loved ones, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, lots of great gifts 24/7, 365, including family, friends, loved ones, and your lovely pets. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also T-shirts, pop sockets, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia. Check it out today. Also support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, along with PayPal and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Make sure you give generously today. We're here with a terrific lady who is a drummer for a Los Angeles-based band called Paradise Kitty, which is similar to Guns N' Roses. And she also played with Cockpit, also Femme Fatale, and quite a few as well, too. She's an amazing drummer, and she's been compared to numerous as well in the industry. And not only that, she's also worked in the music industry for a number of years, and she'll talk more about that. And live, ladies and gentlemen, from Plus Studios in beautiful downtown Los Angeles, the amazing drummer of Paradise Kitty, Rachael Rine. Rachael, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Well, it's great to have you on board as well, too. So you're the drummer of Paradise Kitty, which is similar to Guns N' Roses, which is certainly amazing and perfect, by the way, for you cat lovers out there. And you also play with Cockpit, Femme Fatale, and quite a few more. You also worked in the music industry for a number of years, along with some drumming and just great stories to tell. We'll talk about those. And before we get into all that, Rachael, tell us how you first got started.
Well, I mean, first got started as a musician. I think it's really something that you're born into that, you know, lives deep inside your veins and in your soul. So it's just when you decide to answer the calling. One of my earlier memories was of fighting with my brother over the stereo because he wanted to look at Star Wars Storybook Adventures. And my dad had this tape that I was obsessed with. And it had like green paint or something on one side that had splashed on it. And so I knew that if I put it in the tape deck and I could see the green paint and I knew how to hit rewind and play, those were the only 2 buttons I knew, that I would I would rewind and I would hit play because it had to start with my song. Now, I was probably 3.5. And I remember this memory, and I'd put my song in, I'd hit rewind, and I'd hit play. And it was the Beatles' White Album. And it had to start with Back in the USSR. That was
my gosh. Wow. I love that album.
I had to hear the airplane coming in. No. And to this day, that song just puts the biggest smile on my soul because that's my first memory of falling in love with music. And, I would play the album and I would go sit in front of the speakers and just put my head in the speakers and just listen. And that was, that to me was playing, was just sitting and listening. So, so that's basically, I guess I got started young. I had parents that listened to good music and it just, my brother wanted to listen to Star Wars and I had to listen to the Beatles. And that was it.
Well, I was going to say, I think you could have done like a Star Wars fight with the Jedi swords and, have like Ringo's sticks or something, or maybe Paul's guitar. And then you could have Darth Vader say, Paul is not dead.
Well, at 3-4 years old, I would then also listen to I Love Rock and Roll from Joan Jett. Mm-hmm. And I would dance on the coffee table. And I'd get in trouble for it because, you're 3-4 years old. You shouldn't be standing on a coffee table. You could fall. And I'd wait till nobody was looking and I'd put Joan Jett on and I'd jump on the coffee table and rock out. It's just, being a musician isn't just something you do. It's a part of who you are. And I think that that's just like innate in you or it's not. So.
Mm-hmm. And also you talked about music as well, too. I was going to ask you what was that precise moment, but, besides jumping on coffee tables and dancing and also listening to the White Album at 3.5 years old, how'd you first get involved with drumming, which is rather amazing you're doing? Well,
drums were everything in my life was music except for my career choice. And at the time, I started college when I was 15. I started young. I just wanted to be done with it and get out of there and get out of my small town and do other things. But I didn't know what I really wanted to be or what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted out and I wanted bigger and better and different. And music was always everything except for that. And, by the time I finished high school, I was in high school and college simultaneously. And by the time I finished high school with 1.5 years, almost 2 years of full-time college student already done, I took a semester off because I just kind of really burned myself out. And in that semester, I had a dream that I was on stage playing drums one night.
Huh.
And I always loved the drums. And my best friend and I would joke about getting instruments and starting to play, but we never actually did it. And, in our little town, it just, these things weren't as accessible, And so I had this dream that I was on stage playing one night and she had us, that we were playing together, like in this arena. And I remember looking over on stage and we saw each other and we were like, wow, we did it. And I woke up to the phone ringing and it was her. And she was like, oh my God, I had the craziest dream. And I was like, I just had the craziest dream. And we both had very similar dreams the same night. And we took it as a sign. And during that time off, I grew up in New Mexico, but I was visiting family in Annapolis, Maryland, just for something different to get a new perspective on life. And I literally that day booked my flights home for a week later. And we found this little teeny tiny apartment in Santa Fe where someone told us that we could make a lot of noise. And right off Canyon Road in the middle of all the galleries. And we literally lived in this small studio apartment, the two of us. We bought bunk beds so a drum kit could fit in there.
Oh my gosh.
I was 18 at the time. Mm-hmm. And, I never went back to college. My break turned into, I'm going to be a musician. I started a little later than a lot of kids, but, we all have our own I started some things later. I started other things much earlier. So
that's a really amazing story. And who were your favorite drummers growing up?
Well, one of my largest drum influences, I thought Tommy Lee was like the coolest thing since sliced bread. But the person that really influenced me the most was Randy Castillo. And really? Randy, I'm not sure how well you know who he was, but he played with Ozzy. He used to play with Lita Ford. He played with the Motels. He did a number of things, most known for his time in Ozzy. And when Tommy Lee left Motley Crue, he replaced him in Motley Crue. But Randy was, I grew up in a small town in New Mexico, and Randy grew up an hour up the road. Huh. So So he really influenced me even long before I played drums because, you know, in a small town, people tell you like, you can't do that. You're from here. What makes you think you could like do that or do this? Or, you know, you kind of got this sense that you were limited by your environment.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I remember being in the 5th grade and our teacher was talking to us about thinking about colleges one day. And I remember thinking to myself, well, that guy from Albuquerque plays with Ozzy. And if he could do that, why can't I go to college out of state? Why can't I do things beyond this 100-mile radius? You know, so he really influenced me a lot. And when I moved to LA, we became friends.
Nice.
And he was just such a gem of a human, and he really looked after me. He'd like find me at the Rainbow or some party in the hills or a show or, you know, whatever, where everyone was hanging out at. We'd run into each other a lot. And he'd come up to me and be like, hey, Rachel, did you play your drums today? I'd be like, no, not today, Randy. He'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Hey, Rachel, did you play your drums yesterday? No, I was really busy yesterday. And he'd be like, oh, he'd start yelling at me in Spanish. And he'd grab me by my shirt, by my collar, and he'd throw me out. And he'd be like, get out of here. He'd be like, I don't want to see you unless you've practiced. You have no right being here and hanging out with all of us unless you've done what you came to do. So don't get caught in the LA spin. Do your job. Make me proud. Go home and practice. I don't want to see you out at a party unless you've practiced that day. And that's
I
cool.
like that. I like that. That is so amazing. Since we also were on that subject too, and feels as being one of your influences. How about your thoughts on Ringo Starr? What do you place him like in your top 10 drummers and all that?
Ringo makes really interesting choices, and I love that. You know, I love he does things that you wouldn't. I was having this conversation like probably about a month ago with the drummer Kenny Aronoff.
Oh yes, that's right. John Cougar Mellencamp. He was excellent.
Yeah, there was some Beatles song in the background, and Kenny's like, I would have never thought to go there, and I was like, I wouldn't have either. That wouldn't have been where my feel went. So I love that he made interesting, different choices than most guys or girls would have made. So,
and it's rather interesting as well too. And how about some other favorite singers, songwriters, and musicians growing up?
Well, I was raised on 60s and 70s rock from my parents. And then, you know, I came about at the very like dying end of all the hard rock stuff in the 80s. And I'm a rock and roll girl. I love rock and roll, but my ears are open. I mean, I sometimes listen to the classical station. I love anything that's different, that is outside of the box. I also love a great hook. I love a straight rock and roll song. It's just, I love music. So it's all available to me. I don't have to only like shades of red, you know? So although I may have had my blue phase, I also I dabble with other colors.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is something. You also worked in the music industry for a bit. And of course, drummer Paradise Kitty, Cockpit, Femme Fatale, and more. We'll talk about those in just 1 minute. But first, to listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@SonicWebStudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, Eminem. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Molson-Zia. available on Amazon. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com and over 30 podcast platforms. Take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out The Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia for great books and merchandise and more. Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia. Also, don't forget to support The Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and themikewagnershow.com. Make sure you give generously today. We're here with the drummer of Paradise Kitty and also worked in the music industry and just an amazing lady, Rachael Rine, here on The Mike Wagner Show. And before we talk about your Paradise Kitty, also playing with Cockpit and Femme Fatale, you've been in the music industry for quite some time. And tell us more about it. And I love hearing these stories about the industry in case anybody wants to get in it.
Well, when I first moved to Los Angeles, I felt like I wanted to know the business that I wanted to be in. And I thought that was the smart thing to do. So my very first job here was working at Cherokee Recording Studios, which is an old legendary studio. Like part of Bowie's Changes was recorded there. The Beatles recorded there. All the early Steely Dan albums. You know, a lot of stuff happened in those walls. You know, it was wild. Cherokee was a rogue. It was a pirate ship, and we had.
Oh my gosh!
It was pretty wild. The time there, anyone that ever worked at Cherokee Studios, you know, there's you come across people. They're like, "You worked at Cherokee? I worked there." It like shaped my life. So I really only officially worked there for about 6 months because a lot of times we didn't get paid, and
oh my gosh,
it was a pirate ship. So, but you know, at the same time, you know, if I needed a tire changed, I'd call the kids I worked with at Cherokee and they'd come change my tire. Like, you know, we were all in it together. And, you know, some of the things that went on to influence my career the most came from my time at Cherokee. Huh. So, it was interesting. It was lovely. That's how it started. And then I went on to indie record labels, management companies, booking agencies, major record labels, did my time there, worked in marketing, rebuilt and managed other recording studios. I kind of did a little bit of everything. And as a musician, I've always done both, you know, so I've always, you know, managed to find later on jobs that afforded me the flexibility to do both and to still tour. And I kind of enjoy doing both. It's a lot of fun for me.
Very interesting. What was the most challenging project you've ever done in the music industry?
Ooh, so on the business side?
Yes.
Trying to be a musician at the same time. I mean, back in my days of, you know, being like Jimmy Iovine's assistant, who's one of the most powerful man in the music industry, basically. I was at my desk for 70 hours a week, you know, and I would, at the time Cockpit was my band and we'd rehearse 3 nights a week. So, you know, I remember them sitting in a rehearsal room deep in Van Nuys waiting for me to turn up for hours because I never knew when I'd get to leave, and me turning up just exhausted on no sleep, like years of no sleep, and turning up and like running through a song and falling asleep between songs and waking up and playing a song, falling asleep between songs, you know.
I think it makes a great act right there, too. It's like, you know, you do your thing, go to sleep. Do your thing, go to sleep.
Like call the band Narcolepsy or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Or apnea or something.
Nap time.
Yeah, there you go.
But, you know, it's just really like finding the, like, whatever. Being a musician, it's not this, like, maybe some people from the outside think it's like all big parties and lots of money and all these. You have to really love what you do because it's quite oftentimes unrewarding. So you have to really love what you do. And you make a lot of sacrifices in life to do that, whether you're sacrificing, you know, as a kid, riding your bike with friends on a Saturday or sitting in your bedroom playing guitar. You know, like you have to practice, you have to work, you spend a lot of time alone working on things. You have to be able to work with other people in an intimate setting that aren't an intimate partner, you know? So like, it's just, you know, like being in a band, it's like being married to 3, 4, 5 other people, you know?
Sounds like Fleetwood Mac. It's like they change partners all the time. And then you got the Starship. It's like, you know, Grace Slick has been with just about every guy except for Marty Ballin. I've heard the story where it's like that was the only time they didn't get along. So I know how that goes. So
yeah. Well, I mean, Fleetwood Mac and Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship, they all crossed those boundaries. So they had makeup sex. We didn't. So when there's a fight, you got to figure out how to fix it. There's no like throwing it to the wind.
Oh, exactly. What was like the funniest story you ever been involved with in the music industry? Like maybe with a band, a client, or just like a funny moment that you just remember. You just like to share with everybody.
It's not really. This one's not really. I guess mistaken identities were pretty funny. Like when I was working for Jimmy, this guy kept calling, and it was out of context at the time.
Oh wow!
And he kept calling, and I was like, this name's familiar, but who is this guy? This guy, Steve, keeps calling. And so one day I asked the other assistant, he called, I talked to him on the phone a dozen times in a couple days. And I asked the other assistant, I was like, who does this guy manage? Like, who's he affiliated with? What agency? What deal is this Jimmy's doing? Because my mind is totally escaping me. Who is Steve Jobs?
Oh!
And she looked at me. She was like, Rachael. And I was like, I know who this guy is, but I can't compartmentalize which band he's affiliated with. And she was like, he's affiliated with the band. This is before iPhones. She pulled out her Apple laptop and she was like, he's affiliated with, I was like, oh, that's Steve Jobs. Got it. Okay, well, maybe I should have said Jimmy will come to him this weekend instead of making him come to LA.
Oh my gosh.
But they were actually doing this deal with iTunes at the time that made iTunes the premier music service online. And there was a really smart deal that Jimmy did at the time that basically helped not stop, but helped temper illegal downloads and like kind of change the way we listen to music. So I was in during that, and that was interesting. Another fun mistaken identity was my buddy Kenny Aronoff, were old friends, and he had invited me down to the studio after work. And he'd invite me down randomly here and there. He'd be like, when you're done at your desk, swing by. You should hear what I'm tracking. I'll teach you how I chart out songs, whatever. You should come listen to this, or the producer wants to say hi to you. So, I mean, 2 days before that, he was in the same exact room at the same studio with like Leanne Rimes and, God, who was producing that? Like Desmond Child or something. I don't know. So, but he invited me down. He's like, hey, come stop by A&M on your way home. It's close to your house. Just come swing by for a minute. You should hear this. Okay. So when I turned up, they were all in one of the little lounges eating dinner. They were on their dinner break. And sometimes if you roll into a session with all those session guys, the artist isn't even there. It's just all the session cats and the studio kids. And, they're just tracking. They don't even meet the artists, or they aren't in the session. So I turned up, and there's a crew of guys, all packed into the little room at the Jim Henson, the old A&M studios. And basically, in this little tiny room, there was a fish tank, a really big fish tank with like tropical fish in it. And it's the little private lounge for that one studio. And they're eating dinner. And, I kind of say hi to everyone. He introduced me like Jim, Bob, Frank. It's my buddy Rachael from, whatever label I was at the time. Have a seat. And so I sit next to this older gentleman that he just reminded me of St. Nicholas. He had overalls on and a big belly and white hair and a white beard. And he just this big beaming smile. And so I sat next to him, and he kept offering me his dinner. I was like, I really just ate. I'm good. And he talked a lot about the fish tank in this little room. I mean, he knew a lot about the fish. He knew what type of fish used to be in that tank in the 70s. He knew how you breed the fish, what you feed the fish. Like he had a lot of information about these fish. And some of the older recording studios, I know from my days at Cherokee, they have their guys that have been like manning, servicing, and working at their studio, or been like their piano tuner for 20, 30, 40 years. So I thought that this guy was the fish tank guy. And so I thought he was the guy that cleaned the fish tanks, and all the session guys knew him because they've been at the studio for 20 years working there, and they're all just having dinner together on their break. No big deal. So we joke around and finish his dinner, and the guy was like, it's dessert time. And he was like, you have to break bread with us. Will you please share my tiramisu with me? And I was like, sure, we'll share dessert. So, then they're getting ready to go back into the session, and I went to use the ladies' room. And when I came out of the ladies' room, the producer, John Shanks, came out of the studio to get something. And he stopped me in the hallway and was like, Rach, it's been a while. How you doing? What are you working on? He was like, what do you think of Joe Cocker? And I said, great artist. He was like, really cool guy, right? And I was like, I don't know. I've never met him. He's like, you just eat his dessert. And I was like, I thought he was the fish tank guy. I was like, I'm so ashamed of you. You should have known what he looked like. And I was like, I don't know what he looks like now. Like when I think Joe Cocker in my head, I think of my parents' album of him singing live on the record. And so I he was just like, Rachel, he's like, but yeah, he did talk a lot about the fish tank. I could see why you thought he was the fish tank guy.
And of course, with that term, Mitsu, you are so beautiful to me.
So he was like, well, why don't you come into the studio and listen to him sing? So when we went into the studio, it was no longer all the musicians on a dinner break. All of a sudden, the wives were there and the manager and the business manager and the label person. And it's like, then everyone's there and they're all doing their weird little dance around the artist, that strange, it's like, the king put the crown back on and here's his court entertaining.
Oh, yes. I know how it is.
So, but in that little lounge, it was just all the musicians who had been sweating together all day, having dinner, talking about life. So we go into the studio and then it's everyone's here, let me open the door for you. And they're all dancing around him, doing the whole dance.
Oh my gosh.
And so he goes into the live room and they hit record and the music starts playing and he throws his arms back and his belly out and he's like, wailing. And I was like, holy smokes, that's Joe Cocker. Wow. I left and I called my parents and my mom was like, honey, I'm so ashamed of you. You should know better. And I was like, I didn't know.
Oh my gosh.
He was really a lovely gentleman and he was very knowledgeable about the fish tanks.
Oh my gosh. You know something? I'm glad he didn't eat the fish. That's another thing.
I mean, I seriously thought just in my head, I categorized him as this guy he's manned these fish tanks for decades.
Wow. That is something. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And of course, you also, getting back in the music business as well, too. You play with Cockpit, Femme Fatale, and a few others. And, tell us about those bands. What was it like playing for
them? Cockpit was a band that I started. And we were together for about 10 years and it had different evolutions of the band. We worked really hard. We started our own label. It was, and then it just after about 10 years, for a band on our own in a time where nobody was touching rock, we did well. We did good. We got some good miles under us. We played some big shows. We got some great national press. But, you reach a point where when you realize some of your band members don't want to tour and you're a do-it-yourself original band that you've kind of filled your shoes and the shoes aren't going to grow, So when that was done, it was done. And then Femme Fatale, Rine is also from New Mexico, the singer. And she was rehashing the band as an all-girl band to play the Monsters of Rock cruise in 2013. And at the time,
yes.
I was in London for a minute. So she called me and was like, can you come? I need your help. I need you to come help me do this. So I joined the band for a minute and helped her out. And then, when it was time to move on from that, I moved on. And then Paradise Kitty came about because my singer Jenna and I didn't know her at the time, but a mutual friend called both of us. And Paradise Kitty is a Guns N' Roses tribute band. So all we play is Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
And I knew at the time that the Guns N' Roses reunion was going to happen and that it was going to be huge. And a mutual friend randomly called and said, do you want to do an all-girl Guns N' Roses tribute? And I was like, I thought about it and I was like, those are great songs. They're fun to play. It's a great time for it. People are going to love it. So I said, I'll do it, but I won't do it if it's campy. I won't do it if we have our guitarists wear a wig and a top hat and we take on silly, stupid names. It can't be kitsch. It has to be authentic. All the girls have to really play their instruments. They have to cop the right feel and vibe. And I'm not going out there. I don't want us copying their speeches, and I just want us to play as us, just happen to be playing their songs. Mm-hmm. And we did. And, so now it's basically Jenna and I, and we hire the other girls depending on who's available because we have a nice bevy of girls. And we've done some cool, fun stuff. We've played I think like 5 of the Monsters of Rock cruises. We just did the Chris Jericho Fozzy cruise. We just played the Monsters on the Mountain Festival. We've headlined a tour of Australia. We're in discussions right now about going to India. We've done a 6-week tour with Faster Pussycat. We've done some fun stuff. It's been a lot of fun. So.
It sounds like it too. Do you have any albums that are about to be released? Any material on Spotify or anything like that?
No, because, we're basically just playing Guns N' Roses. So we haven't recorded that. I know some tribute bands are able to do that. We've talked about it, but we'll have to see, obviously they aren't our songs and it's not our licensing. It's not our publishing. We would have to get permission to be able to do that. So at some point we may, but not quite.
What do you think? What do you think Axl Rose would think about the idea?
Well, when we first did this band, my other rule I had was basically, I will only do this if the Guns guys are cool with it. So, a friend of his friend was buddies with Axl, and she had mentioned it to him, and his response was, this is before we had our first show. Like, if we didn't get the thumbs up from him, there was no doing this band. I wasn't going to waste time on rehearsals and learning songs if they didn't want us to do it and they could quickly put a pin in it, Mm-hmm. So basically at first he was like, do they think I sound like a girl? I don't sound like a girl. Why is a bunch of girls trying to cover us? And so we literally had 2 rehearsals, and one of them was auditioning girls, and everyone had to do their homework.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We played Appetite front to back, 2 rehearsals. One of them audition girls. The next group rehearsal was like, all right, we're playing their entire first album front to back out in the desert just to see if this boat's going to float. Let's just get a feel for it before we all invest a lot of time and money. And we played that one gig, and fans, like people in the audience, videotaped it and must have posted it. It somehow made its way to Axl. And, we booked a second show to just give it another shot. And he started tweeting about us, giving us a thumbs up. So, Slash will wear our t-shirts on stage. He's supportive. Like, they all think it's great and cool. And like Dizzy Reed will sit in and play with us, and Slash's band members from his other band will come and play with us. And, we have their full support. So it's really great.
That is amazing. Where can we find more information on Paradise Kitty?
If you go, we're on all the social medias. It's all under Paradise Kitty Band. So you could find us there, and that's where we post most about shows and tours and stuff like that.
That's so amazing too. And what's coming up for Rachael Rine in 2022? We'll find out just 1 minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. We'll be back with the amazing, multi-talented drummer of Paradise Kitty, Rachael Rine, after this time out.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing. Available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to the Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back with drummer Rachael Rine of Paradise Kitty and veteran in the music industry here on the Mike Wagner Show. And Rachael, just a great story, and I really got to know you, and just a lot of great stories, and I'll just pass them on. It's so amazing. And what can we expect from you in 2022 and beyond, especially with you and Paradise Kitty?
That is the question. It's this whole COVID time has been so strange that, I think everyone's on the planet's plans got derailed. And, we just started getting out and touring again. And, obviously there will definitely be more tours. There'll be more festivals. There'll be more tour dates. For me personally, I've been making some job shifts for my industry stuff. So I left Monster Energy a couple months ago where I was doing music marketing for a while. And I have I have a new really cool project in the works, but I'm not allowed to talk about it quite yet.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't think we can make all your listeners sign a non-disclosure. So for a minute, but you'll be hearing more about that come springtime, and probably by summer, definitely there'll be press releases on it. So yeah, just kind of, navigating this strange time. I'm taking the last month of this year to organize my life before I jump into this new project. And I really, through this whole time, I've just thrown my hands up and been like, okay, let's just swim with the current instead of against it. So that really takes a bit of surrender when you're used to being the one that is the town planner. So I've been learning to surrender. So in 2022, you're going to feel a lot more surrender from me.
Oh, definitely will. And of course, it's perfect as well, too. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oof. My dad. Yeah. He's no longer with us, but when he was exiting this lovely planet, he gave me some really good advice and some good props about following my heart. And I think whether it be business, music, relationships, which song to listen to, really that is your guide and that's your answer. And I think that he really just helped me decide just help me realize that that's where I need to listen more. Mm-hmm. And so that's a pretty big influence in everything I do, really.
And that's a really good one as well. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Listen to your heart. Same thing. That's everyone's road is different, and to find your path on whatever your road is, just you really have to listen to your gut and listen to your intuition, and that puts you exactly where you need to be.
And that's very important as well, too. We're here with drummer and music veteran industry leader, Rachael Rine, here on the Mike Wagner Show at Paradise Kitty. Rachael, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely terrific. Love hearing your stories. Looking forward to having you in soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back in 2022 and beyond. Don't forget to keep in touch. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people simply or purchase or simply just check out your works?
So Paradise Kitty Band is our website, and that will link you to all of our social media. And from there, you could contact us and whatever your needs may be. All of our shows will be posted, or you could also find my personal socials through there, Rachael Rine. And come connect.
We certainly will do so. Once again, Rachael, very big thank you for your time. You've been totally amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date, keep in touch, and we're definitely looking forward to having you on soon. We wish you all the best. You've got a great future ahead of you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.